recording button.
Why, hello guys, it's Tim Johnson here again. I know I have not done a video podcast in a while, but in this video podcast, I'd like to talk about the top reasons why a blind person may feel discouraged when playing the saxophone and how to overcome this discouragement, because this is a very common theme in the non-sighted world today. I was one of the people. I was one of the people in the non-sighted world who was persecuted for being a saxophonist, even though I can't see. And we're gonna talk about the top reasons I think that many blind people, especially saxophonists, may feel discouraged as far as playing and how to overcome this discouragement. Well, let's start with reason number one. Well, I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, a person may say to their non-sighted son or daughter, you don't know how to play. It's a big commitment, and I don't know if you can handle this. I got news to say to them. It is a no bigger commitment than sitting down, practicing the instrument, and being able to feel the keys like this. If you are totally blind, the saxophone has tactile keys, if you can hear that. Very tactile keys for easy navigation and easy fingering. Hear that? Tactile keys. And it's very accessible to us in the blind world. I've played piano for a number of years when I was really little. And even though the keys were not tactile, even though they were flat, I was still able to do it, but with a bit of challenges. This is long before I got my saxophone here that I have in front of me. The keys were flat. I wasn't an advanced piano player, but I did play a little bit of melody on the piano, a little bit of harmonizing at least, just enough to where you're not held back. Unfortunately, due to the flatness of the keys, over time, my fingers could not handle that over time. So, and also the piano did not vibrate at all in terms of me being able to feel exactly what I was doing when I was really young. So one of the big reasons why a blind person may feel discouraged is that, especially if nobody, for example, somebody in the family who hasn't been around them a lot, hasn't heard them play piano when they were really young, as far as getting started first, with the piano first, and then moving to the saxophone later in their life. This is a very common theme among many blind people today. So one of the things that you can do to show your family that you can do it is, I'm going to give you a couple things that you can do. Number one is show them that you can learn stuff by ear. And I was born with this ability to learn stuff by ear. really quick without reading a book. I've tried reading a book as far as music stuff, and that slowed me down pretty quick. And you don't have to read a book to play the saxophone. You don't have to do that. It's all done by ear and by feel and the vibration patterns that you feel on your voice box. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about next in this other reason. Well, second reason number 2 is, well, how do I know what I'm doing? I can't see what I'm doing. I think the saxophone can only be played by a sighted person. Nope. Wrong again. Absolutely wrong. The saxophone can be played by a blind person, and I'm going to show you that it can be played very easily. Okay? Now, let's put the next strap up here, and we're going to play a note, and I'm going to make this brief, that way I don't wake up people inside my apartment, because it is late, and I'm going to try to keep it quiet, that way so I don't wake up anybody, but we'll see. Hopefully this won't get too loud. And there's the reed on the mouthpiece, and we're going to talk about the reed and how to assemble it, because I'm sure a lot of blind people are struggling to assemble the saxophone and still haven't gotten it down. And this is another theme that a lot of blind people, I'm sure, who are saxophone players like myself, struggled with. And I struggled with it for a while, but I got it. Okay, but let's focus on this reason first. All right, you can't see what you're doing, right? To play the saxophone, there's a very easy workaround for that, folks. And I'm going to show you how you can know what you're doing very easily. I'm going to play a note. I'm going to play note A, and then you may think, okay, well, what are you doing next? You're going to put your hand up there. That's right, I'm going to put my hand up there on my voice box. And this is one thing that the saxophone really helps us with understanding what we are feeling. All right, we're going to play note A. And we're going to put our right hand over the voice box, now on the vocal cords. And guess what we're going to feel next? You feel the vibration of that note that you're playing on the voice box, because the saxophone does use your vocal cords for your sound, because it is technically a wind and voice instrument. But the reed is what converts your voice into a saxophone voice. So, folks, if you feel discouraged that you can't play the saxophone because you can't see, don't. Don't feel discouraged. Don't feel discouraged. Never give up on playing. Never give up on playing. Keep playing and be strong, because the saxophone will guide you through this journey of learning. And it's not as hard as one may think, because you can feel the vibration on your voice box if you put your hand up there, so you can measure if your throat, if your voice box is getting the right frequency. And this is also useful for measuring your embouchure balance, if you're getting the right vibration frequency. Okay? All right. Now, well, the next 10 things, or the next thing that a lot of blind people may struggle with is, well, how do I make it sing? how do I make it sing? I don't know how this is done because, again, I can't see to do this. And again, this is a very common theme, and you don't have to be
authentication login panel window.
Don't have to
user
be
image
fully sighted to play the instrument. You don't have to be fully sighted to play. And I'm going to show you how to make it sing. It's very easy, and I'll tell you what, I have been playing for only 5 months, and I can already make it sing within 5 months. You might be thinking, wow, that is a very short amount of time. How do you do it? How do you do it if you can't see? Well, I'm going to show you how it's done. I'm going to show you how it's done. Alright, we're going to play a simple song that we all know of. Alright, now we're going to put our hand on the voice box again, and we're going to play note A, but we're going to play Happy Birthday. That's how you can get comfortable with knowing how to play. Okay, well, as you could see what I was doing, as I was playing the higher notes G and higher notes A, I was searching for a vibration pattern on the voice box. The higher you go, the lesser you feel it. However, that does not stop you from feeling the vibration, because you can feel the vibration of the notes as you play. And the fingering arrangements are extremely easy to figure out if you cannot see. And if you feel discouraged because you don't know how to make it sing because you can't see, again, I would stop feeling discouraged, because it's very, very simple to learn the vibrations of the note and feel the vibrations of that note that you're playing. And as you're practicing, feel the vibrations of the notes high A and lower notes A on your voice box as you play Happy Birthday. And that's a good way to get started as far as how to learn how you make it sing. So if you ever feel discouraged because you can't see, stop feeling discouraged, because it's really not that hard. It's very, very simple. Okay, well, other reason is, and this is really a giant one. This is really a big one. Well, if you're talking to friends online, for example, on the internet, and you happen to be the only person that's talking online who is a blind saxophonist, and they are not. And this is one of the things that I went through as a saxophonist in the beginning. For example, if they are starting arguments online with each other, and you want to play for them to help spread the love and joy and the positive difference that you are making in your own community and on the internet, and if they say things such as, you need to take that saxophone and do whatever to it, tell you what, these people have no desire to form a hobby for themselves. And that should not, and again, so many blind people, when they have this happen to them, they instantly feel discouraged. I don't want to continue playing anymore because of what happened to me. I don't think I should pursue this. Well, if you ever feel that way, I would recommend that you get over it pretty quick, because otherwise, if you continue to feel that way, that's only going to make you held back on the saxophone severely, especially as far as feeling discouraged, especially if you are sight impaired. That is a big one, and that's one of the things that I dealt with. That is a big one that I dealt with. But I overcame that discouragement and moved on and moved forward. And the greatest saxophone players who are not blind, who are fully sighted, and I will give you an example. Mindy Bear, who I met at Demetrius Jazz Alley in Seattle. And Mindy, if you are listening, I want to thank you for really encouraging me to not feel discouraged as a blind saxophonist. One of the things that she said, keep playing, don't feel discouraged if somebody tries to persecute you just because you are blind and are playing the saxophone. There's a lot of that going around right now, especially with many people that are blind and that play the saxophone. If you are vision impaired, that should not stop you from playing whatever musical instrument you set your heart to, including the saxophone. But evaluate your instruments to see which ones are going to suit your needs. The saxophone is definitely the best one by far, because for us in the blind community, in the non-sighted world, it has the best tactile key design I have ever seen. And that will help you learn the saxophone very quick. In fact, due to its tactile key design, that is the best one by far. Also, the vibrations help us out in a lot of ways with knowing what note we are hitting. And if you have a sense of feel as far as the vibrations, that's going to help you out tremendously in learning and mastering of the saxophone. Because that sense of vibration, that sense of touch that you have, will help you tremendously in becoming an excellent saxophonist. And this is the last reason in this series that I thought I would come up with. And this is really something that a lot of blind people sometimes will do. This is really a big one that a lot of blind people especially struggle with. Pursuing the interest of playing the saxophone and then losing the interest in the saxophone because you just don't want to continue playing it, or you somehow are thinking that, I'm vision impaired and I won't be as good as my sighted peers. Well, I have news for you. Again, that will not stop you. That should not stop you from learning. If you take up an interest in the saxophone, It is something that you should be happy to pursue. And that should not stop you from being an excellent saxophonist. In fact, for us blind folks who play the saxophone, we have the ability to progress a lot quicker because, again, the saxophone helps us out with feeling the vibration of the note that we are playing. And that is really one of the big, big, big features that the saxophone has. And I know that not too many people focus on that because they are sighted and they can see. Well, but for us, that is a really excellent, useful feature that the saxophone has. Being able to feel the vibrations of the note that you are playing will definitely keep you motivated in wanting to continue to play the saxophone and go out there and play with other people, especially, for example, after my saxophone lesson at the Portland Music Company, I was playing with quite a number of people who didn't play saxophone, but playing the guitar, and I played along with whatever song they were playing. And again, for a blind person playing the saxophone, that is going to make you a much more excellent saxophonist if you play with other people and don't isolate yourself for too long, especially if you are vision impaired. Because if you play with other people that may not play saxophone but also play the guitar in the process, and then play along with whatever song you are playing with them, and that is also going to help you with getting better very quick. In fact, I know that there probably are some blind people that may feel nervous about playing with other people, and it's natural. But if you don't get out there and at least do it with other people, just because you can't see, you're going to feel really awful inside. That's going to make you lose interest quickly in playing the saxophone, and that should not stop you from mastering and playing the instrument. And also, well, it's now time for the last reason in this series here. Well, will the saxophone, and this is something that a lot of blind people may have on their minds, especially beginner blind saxophonists, and I'm way past the early beginner stage. I am eligible for 2.5 strength reeds here coming up momentarily. Well, will the saxophone give me any pain when playing, especially if I can't see? Absolutely not. I'm going to show you how the saxophone is very gentle on your neck. It is a very gentle instrument on your neck. Allow yourself to really feel comforted when wearing the instrument on your neck. And I know this is a very weird thing, but for a blind person that's playing the saxophone, because you can't see it, allow yourself to feel comforted when wearing the instrument. Especially when you feel its neck strap around your neck. And I know this may sound weird of what I'm doing right now. And you might be wondering to yourself, okay, what are you doing right now? Well, Well, as you know, and as you can probably see in this video, I am hugging the instrument. And I know that sounds a little bit strange, but allow yourself to feel like the saxophone is a part of you. As far as a body extension, allow it to feel like it's attached to you and it's implanted into your neck and is right there waiting for you to sing into it. Because you want the saxophone to be like a body extension, to make it be a part of you, as far as walking around with it. And allow it to comfort you with its nice, gentle, comforting feel to it. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but it's not actually. It's a very comforting way for a blind person to not feel afraid of it. Because I'm sure a lot of blind people may feel afraid of the instrument. But the saxophone is not scary by any means. It's a very comforting, very gentle, very ergonomic instrument, and it's a very peaceful instrument that will make you feel better about everything in life that's happening right now to you that isn't healthy in this world today. And that brings us to almost that brings us to the final reason in this series. I know I said that this was the last one, but this is now the final reason in this series, and this is really something that I dealt with a while back. How do you put the instrument together if you can't see it? And if you watched and you can watch this video, by the way, if you haven't watched it yet, how to assemble your instrument if you can't see it. And this is really something that a lot of blind people, I'm sure, are still struggling with. Well, if you are vision impaired, if you are blind and playing the saxophone, it's extremely easy to assemble the instrument and put it together. It's very, very, very easy if you can't see it, because it's all done by touch and feel, and you can feel if the reed is attached to the mouthpiece right. How you can feel that, and I'm going to demonstrate this. The reed has to be aligned with the tip of the mouthpiece properly and not sticking out either. If it's sticking out, you know you got it on wrong, and you can readjust it accordingly. But and also, your ligature needs to be up against the reed, and that's how you can tell that you got it on right. That's how you can tell. But there's so many. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are blind that are probably thinking, well, I can't see to do this. How can I? Well, it's very easy. It's very, very, very easy to learn to assemble your saxophone. It's not that difficult. And you can tell that you've got it assembled right when you can feel the neck piece on the mouthpiece with no cork hardly showing at all. You can feel that with your hands. If you can't see it, you can feel that. And I'm putting my hand on the cork right now, and there is hardly any cork showing. So you know what? You got it right. That's how you can see with your hands. And again, you don't have to have any eyesight when playing the saxophone. If you've seen my other videos of me playing the songs that we all know and love, for example, Filter, Take a Picture, and I am going to do a revised version of that momentarily because there was some goof-ups in the song. I'm going to do a revised version of it shortly, coming up here. You can tell that the saxophone, and if you've also seen my saxophone version of Foo Fighters, take a picture, or Foo Fighters, take a picture, I'm sorry, Foo Fighters, my hero, saxophone version, you will know that the saxophone can be very easily played by a blind person. It can be very easily played by a blind person. It's not just limited to the sighted world, and I want the blind community to understand that. I want the blind community to really understand that they can pursue a hobby that is accessible for them. They can pursue a hobby that is accessible to them. And if their fingers can't handle the guitar as far as the string arrangements, and if their fingers have a difficult time with the piano keys as far as being too flat, there is a solution, and that is the saxophone, especially because of the vibration effects that it offers us, as far as being able to feel the vibration of that note that you're playing. I've already covered this in one saxophone video, but I thought I would cover it in more detail. That way, so that you guys that can't see can get an overview, and for a lot of you that can see, that are fully sighted, can see what I am doing here, what I'm demonstrating here. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little tip and podcast, and I hope these will help you as a blind beginner saxophonist, help you to not feel discouraged when learning and mastering the saxophone. So I hope you really enjoyed this. Go ahead and comment if you'd like. And if you're wondering, and this is another thing that a lot of blind people may feel, that a lot of blind people may be asking me, and I'm sure a lot of them probably are asking me, did Mindy a Bear mistreat you just because you are vision impaired and playing the saxophone? Did she mistreat you? Absolutely not. It didn't even bother her that I was totally blind and playing the saxophone. It did not bother her one bit. Because, again, the saxophone can be played very easily by a blind person. It can be very easily played. So I don't want you guys to feel discouraged if you are a blind person wanting to learn to play the instrument. I don't want you guys to, if you guys ever feel insulted online, whether it would be Skype or any other programs like that, remember, the saxophone is there to comfort you, and it's there to be your support if you want to play, to help you calm down. And don't feel discouraged just because of one or a bunch of people saying you are blind, you can't do it. In reality, you can do it. If you are blind, you can do it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this this little tip and tutorial. Comments are welcome. And all right, well, I will see you in the next saxophone video. And it's gonna be more songs as soon as I can figure out how it goes. And stay tuned. As soon as I can listen to the songs more and learn how it goes, you're going to hear more from me. So, bye for now, and I will talk to you guys soon.
QuickTime Player, movie recording window, stop recording button.